So we have you here today, Sir Casey, a good friend of mine that I met you in Brazil, Sao Paulo, Brazil. Then we went to Manaus together, and I convinced you, like, hey, Nairobi is a great, great place. And that, I believe, is what brought you out here, was me hyping up Nairobi. So since I hyped up Nairobi, and to introduce you, you're Casey Redbeard Rants on YouTube.
Yeah, Redbeard Rants. I go by Casey Redbeard. My real name is Casey Brown.
Mm-hmm. So first of all, tell everybody, we know that you're Casey Redbeard Rants. Where are you from? Mm-hmm. What do you do? And what were your first thoughts on Kenya?
Okay, yeah, so I'm from Los Angeles, but I lived everywhere. I lived in Miami. I've lived in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Lived in Medellin, how you want to pronounce it, for 7 years. So that's where I'm from. I'm obviously from the States. And what I do, I guess you could say dating coach reluctantly. I never really wanted to be one, but there's just a bunch of bullshit out there. There's a few good people, a few bad people, and my, I guess, reputation, if you look at my YouTube comments, they'll be like, finally someone tells it how it is, finally someone's actually honest. They know me as like the honest dating coach, because I'll say shit like, if you're not at least a 6 out of 10 in America, don't even fucking try. You're cooked. Or, eventually at the end of the day, if you want truly beautiful women, you're going to have to support them financially. This, like, just have a mouthpiece and just have game doesn't really work anymore. So I try to keep it really raw and honest, and obviously traveled many places, and now we're here in Nairobi, so let's talk about it.
So what were your first thoughts when you arrived on Kenya? Based off what I told you, what did you expect when you were coming here, and what did you see when you got here?
What did I expect and what did I see? So you set realistic expectations. I wasn't expecting to see hyenas and I don't know what, dirt roads or whatever, huts and spears and all that. I wasn't expecting all that, because you had let me know that it's very modernized. And what did I see? What I saw is female pickup artists. So your audience may or may not know this. You're famous here. And it's interesting because I would say that the women are, I don't want to use the word like sexually aggressive. I don't want to like say that about them. They're definitely not, but they have game. They know how to flirt and make eye contact. If they see a guy, they're not scared to cold approach. For people that don't know what that means that cold approach, you don't know someone, it's a stranger. So again, don't twist my words and say, oh, Casey says that African women are sexually aggressive. I just mean that they know how to walk up to a man, they know how to flirt. I've been approached several times, you've been approached several times. It's modern here, it's beautiful, everybody's very friendly. I don't feel any type of racial tensions. I mean, why would there be? It's 99.9% black. Although we did get a Black Lives Matter guy out here, which I kind of thought was hilarious. I didn't know in a society that's 99.999% black, there had to be a Black Lives Matter presence. But no, it's cool, modern, beautiful. That's just my first impressions.
So would you say that the social aspect of being in Nairobi was surprising? It was more than what you would have expected?
Yes. Another thing that surprised me too, well, actually, something that would have surprised me but didn't, because you told me, was the English level too, speaking about the social aspect of it. So Swahili is like, I guess, the primary language, but there's at least 3 or 4 more languages that are pretty prominent here, right?
Yeah.
But, the English isn't great. I definitely speak more slowly. When I would talk to a Kenyan, I would talk a little bit more like this, just a little bit more slowly than I would talk to like a normal American. But very friendly people. And like I said, going back to, the question was how was it socially? Yeah, I've never seen women so, again, I don't want to use the word aggressive, just like outgoing or putting themselves out there, or flirtatious, or just enthusiastic, I would say, yes. But also very feminine as well.
Coming from the States, the black women, and I'm saying this just because I've said this many times, the black women in the States are not even comparable to the ones here. Like there's the only similarities I think that they have is that they're black. I think that's the only thing they have in common. Culturally, that's why I tell people, when people say women are the same worldwide, no, they share certain things, but culture definitely makes things different. Because if they were the same worldwide, you wouldn't be saying what you're saying about the ones here versus the ones back, because there's a different culture. So, it definitely is completely different. So what did it feel like to experience? How did it make you feel to experience Kenyan culture firsthand, especially as being a white American?
How did it feel like to experience Kenyan culture? Yeah, so I know I keep reverting to the same things,
Mm-hmm.
like about how the women, approach, and everyone's the women are very outgoing, flirtatious. Mind you, again, I've been here for 6 days.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we can do another one when I have even more to say on it. And a lot of these days have been jet lagged, or I've been doing late night, coaching calls, not sleeping, not going out too much. But so as far as like what can I say about Kenyan culture, the whole culture as a whole, I don't think I'm fully authorized or have the knowledge to comment on like, well, what is Kenyan culture, or what does it mean to be Kenyan? The only thing that I could say, you've dragged me out a couple times. Thank you, by the way, for taking me out. I shouldn't say you dragged me out. Consensually dragged me out. I say that just because my sleep pattern's been messed up, but it was a blast. And yeah, sorry to keep answering everything the same, but like, for instance, let me tell the story about the female pickup artist. Okay, so this is your audience may not. I hinted at this earlier. Austin is like legit. You are legit famous here. You are. I don't know to make analogy for the States, but like I don't know. Almost damn near famous as like Michael Jordan or something. You when we're walking through a mall or damn near anywhere, nightclubs, you get recognized. If I'm walking around with you for like an hour, 2 hours in the mall, well, like 4 or 5 times on average, you'll get recognized. And if 4 or 5 people come up to you and say something to you, that means 15 to 20 recognize you but didn't say shit, right? So we're at the mall, typical thing where Austin's getting noticed, looked at a lot, this and that. And there's a girl doing a choosing signal. She's just smiling and flirting at you from far. It was me, you, and Bobby, and we're all eating or whatever. And she flirts with you from afar. She's smiling at you. She just gets up, takes the initiative, comes right over. And I'm a seasoned like pickup artist. My background is like Real Social Dynamics, Owen Cook, Mystery Method, The Game, Neil Strauss, all this stuff. She did a textbook approach. She came in with an indirect opener. She comes up, hey, excuse me, you look familiar. And you're like, oh yeah, have you seen me somewhere? I'm on TikTok a little bit. She's like, oh yeah, that's it, TikTok. Oh, I love your tattoos, by the way. Kind of like a compliment. And then you started flirting back with her and, spit some game. And then she said a line that cracked me up. She said, yes, you look like somebody who could break my heart.
Which is facts.
Yeah, which we just started cracking up at. And she was... she had poise. She was articulate. She carried herself like a lady. She wasn't overly thirsty at all. Again, she came in with the indirect opener. Another thing, she built rapport with the group. That would be another like mistake that a pickup artist would make is like, as a guy, you go in, just talk to the hot girl that you want and ignore the fatties. No, she came and she did talk to you first with the indirect opener. And then she talked to us. Bobby, who also has a background in pickup, we're saying, we need to take her boot camp. Like, yeah. I would pay her $2,000 to take me out and teach me game. And then now, as you guys are texting, apparently she's a little hot, cold. She'll send you, a little bit of like, flirtatious images, like, classy ones like her in the gym, not like, nudies or anything. And then she'll be like, oh, but I can't see you for a while. So she's, hot and cold, giving the validation, then taking it away. And I've never experienced like women with game or women taking initiative. So again, what's the word we chose? Enthusiastic, proactive. That's what I'll say.
Proactive.
They're proactive. The women here are proactive with their flirting and with showing interest. And yeah, she could teach a masterclass. So that story I think would depict, how I guess Kenyan culture is, at least from my very limited white man experience, what it's like to be with you. Not that I'm authority to talk about Kenyan culture yet.
Yeah, well, my next question was, what was was that an interaction that left a lasting impression, which I can see it did. So what about the food? We actually met her at a restaurant at the mall. What were your expectations of food in Africa, and were you disappointed or were you amazed by it?
So let's start with the basics here. I'm a damn good chef. I'm not like your little sister's friend who knows how to make fucking spaghetti with, store-bought tomato sauce. Like I could make a fucking hollandaise sauce from scratch, homemade pesto, Thai, anyway. So I have high standards. All I'm trying to say. I have high standards when it comes to food, and I have not been disappointed yet. I don't think, actually, no, I did try traditional, I guess, East African food one time.
Like
you weren't
Uganda?
there. No. Oh yeah, that stuff too. Yeah, that little starchy stuff. Yeah. But I did try. But we also just had like chicken wings. We've had tacos. We had that just now. We had that Arabic food, the kebabs, and I've been thoroughly impressed by the prices. And like we paid, it wasn't like even that cheap, but I'll get 2 meals out of it. We paid what, 2,700 Kenyan shillings is what that would be.
Somewhere close to $20.
It would be like, well, yeah, it'd be about 15 or something like that. Yeah, but I'll get 2 meals out of that. So call that, $7.50 per meal at a mall, at one of the more bougie malls. And yeah, that's all I can say. Really good. Have not been disappointed yet. I can say I've been impressed by it. Yeah, good food.
Yeah, and I would say to even add to that, you can even go cheaper at a nice spot. Like we went to Nairobi Street Kitchen. If you get the tacos there, 1,000 shillings, which is about $7.80, I think, or it's somewhere around $7.
It's like $6.50 now. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a full meal for $7. It's not on this side of town, but still. So, how would you compare that food to the United States?
How would I compare it to the United States? Keep in mind, I haven't lived in the United States in a long time. It feels less processed. That's about what I would say. And I think the U.S. has really good food too, right? Because the U.S. has people. Speaking of the U.S., go to Fairfax Street in L.A. Anybody watching this? Ethiopian food, like legit people from Ethiopia. So L.A. where I'm from has amazing culinary experiences. But I'd say on par. But definitely, I think everything feels less processed than
it's more organic or it's more natural.
Yeah.
So you spoke about the cost of the meals. What do you think about day-to-day expenses? Like, how much do you think somebody could? How much, like you were in Brazil and you could live in Sao Paulo, you could survive at $1,500 a month. That would be surviving, basically.
Yeah.
Do you think that you've only been here a week, but do you think that's about the same? Do you think it's more expensive than Brazil here, or
way cheaper here? Yeah,
way cheaper,
cheaper here. Yeah, for sure.
And it can get even cheaper if you go to a place like Tanzania or somewhere else.
I'll say one thing too. It's always more expensive for travelers, right? Short-term rentals, Airbnbs are not. If you're thinking, oh yeah, you can get a mansion for $500 a month. No, you cannot get a mansion in a nice neighborhood in Nairobi, Kenya for $500 a month.
No.
I have a very nice. It's actually a 3-bedroom apartment. I didn't even need that many, but I just got it because it was close to that mall village market. And I think I'm paying I don't want to misquote it. Somewhere between 1,000 or eight. No, I think I'm paying $850 for 3 weeks. So maybe close to a little over 1,000 per month. But again, this is like short-term price. If you live here, if you furnish a place, it's always more expensive. You eat out more when you're traveling. When you live, you're maybe cooking more meals. You actually have the the utensils to cook with, or you have a meal prep person or something like that.
Yeah, so I'll tell you this. My realtor and I, we went to a apartment that was about, I think it was 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, brand new development. Nobody had ever lived in it. This was last year. And it was $330 a month with no furniture, unfurnished. So $330, and if you cook, which I don't, but if you grocery shop, let's max out at about $300. That's not even $700. And you can eat and you have somewhere to lay your head. You have 100 megabyte up and down internet, $70 a month. What else is there? Electricity, you might spend $30-$40 a month. So you can really survive out here for less than 1,000, but about 1,000. But keep in mind, I'm saying survive. And like Casey said, that's for somebody that's living here. But if you are like what he's doing 3 weeks, yeah, it's not going to be as cheap as it is if you were staying here. Vacation is never cheaper than living somewhere, obviously. So transportation in Nairobi, it has its challenges. I think you would agree that Uber and Bolt may be easier in Brazil.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I got in a little super minor car accident in my second or third or fourth day here. They drive crazy. They're also on the wrong side of the road, the British side of the road, right? Which also kind of always drives me crazy. The roads aren't of the highest quality. They're not that bad though. They're a little bit bouncy and bumpy. I mean, yeah, it's Africa. It's not you're not riding around a Rolls Royce on a brand new paved street. And we talk about this a lot. The Uber drivers don't even know where you're going. They call you every time. The Uber, for some reason, I don't think it does this in other places, but it doesn't tell the Uber driver the destination until he's picked you up.
Which is crazy.
So they always ask you, like, where are we going? And if I thought, like, yo, like, what the fuck? Why are they always asking me, like, what's wrong with them? Like, look at your fucking app, motherfucker. But it doesn't tell them.
Yeah, they legitimately don't know.
And you sometimes long wait times or confusion. It's not the smoothest transportation experience, but hey, it's the cost of doing business for all the other benefits of being out here.
So on this side of town, I would say this as well. Where we're at, it's a little more difficult. But if you're in Westlands, Parklands, the area where everything is happening, the Ubers, you order Uber, they're outside 30 seconds. Usually they're not calling you. Like, where are you at? Where are you going? Is it cash? They're usually just outside. But there's a trade-off. Like, there's no traffic on this side of town. Over there, a 10-minute distance could easily be 45 minutes just because of how crazy the traffic can get. But if you guys do come to Nairobi, and you click the link in the description of the first pinned comment, I can get you a driver set up and I can tell you exactly where you need to stay and build a plan for you based on who you are. If you're a young single guy or woman, maybe you can stay on that side where there's a lot of traffic. If not, then I will find somewhere for you to go that fits for you or your family. So back to the interview. You are a white American. You kind of brought this up earlier. Do you feel like you were unwelcome or discriminated against for being white in Kenya?
Yeah, absolutely fucking not. Absolutely not. This is one thing I want to mention too, and I already know, I'm going to get some type of reaction out of this, but I'll say it because I don't give a fuck. White people get racism too in the United States, especially now. You hear it all the time about white privilege, and white people are just generally portrayed as racist, and maybe they have all these things that are undeserved or unearned. They're generally like, like if you're white, you in some way get called racist on social media on a daily basis. And I'm not here to complain like, oh, my life is so hard in America, I had to run it away and it doesn't affect me. I just want to put it out there. That's literally all I'm saying is like white people, there's not a generally high opinion of white people in America. The racism is kind of like all over the place. So that's all I'm pointing out. I'm not crying or bitching and moaning about it. And here, it's almost as if racism has been eliminated. And for anybody who wants to talk about, is there some extra privilege of being a white American out here? I can't really say. All I know is that you and Bobby get more choosing signals than I do. Bobby's another black American, and he's like black. He's a dark-skinned black guy, I guess. And he doesn't, and his features, he looks like more of like an African, you know what I mean? I don't know what his background is, but yeah, you guys get stared at and flirted with everywhere. I do too, but I certainly don't think it's anything more. But anyway, just to go back to the original question, yeah, no, zero. Most places it's tough to be a foreigner, and there's always that smaller percentage of people that's just resentful, but I have not, and again, it's only been a week. But I can say as far as a week, no, I felt extremely welcome by the people here.
Yeah, and I would say to touch on what you just said about the women being attracted, it's a familiarity thing where I look more similar to them than you do. So, of course, that doesn't mean that they're not open, which when I was talking about back in Brazil about them, like saying it's not that they don't like you, but it's just we're different. But we're not going to get too deep into that. So, safety. Do you feel safer here or do you feel safer in Brazil?
I would say here. Again, a week of experience. I've never felt like I was being followed or stalked or anything like that, or anybody was, going to try to pickpocket me. I'm also like an experienced traveler. If I'm walking through any remotely crowded area, I put my hands in my pockets or keep my hands at my side. And again, I keep saying this like a broken record, but it's been 1 week. Some days I haven't even, barely left the house, but so far, absolutely not. I'm sure there's a lot of places and a lot of areas here where I would not feel safe. But as of now, zero safety issues that I've felt so far.
Yeah, to go to those unsafe areas, you would have to literally try to go there. So social circle, life is about people. Like you said yesterday, if you go a certain amount of time without socializing, it can depress you. I'm like that as well. How easy do you think it would be to build a social circle here in Nairobi?
Extremely fucking easy. Do you mean with expats or locals or both? Both. Yeah. So Kenyans, like many people, almost all other civilization or countries, whatever you want to call them, cultures, the U.S. is seen by a lot of people as like the primary culture. Iron Man was made in fucking America. Spider-Man comes from America. The most powerful military. Everybody knows who Donald Trump is, and U.S. currency is like the strongest currency. So America not to sound like arrogant, but it is somewhat, it's true. It is somewhat the center of like the cultural world. Like if you go to Sweden, the reality shows that they know about, the politicians they know about, the songs they know about are American songs and politicians. And it's the same here in Kenya. So there's always that fascination. You always are like, oh, he's American. There's a little bit of that, how's the word? Like they're just impressed by it. Mm-hmm. They're interested by it. They're very friendly and eager to make friends with Americans. They kind of view you as like, yeah, you come from like, you know, this amazing place. And they love it when you say nice things about their country. So that's as far as Kenyans go. Very friendly, like I said, I was just saying, especially for Americans for that reason. And because they're just friendly in general. Mm-hmm. They're just friendly people, even if you weren't American. Even if you didn't come from, the land of America where fucking Michael Jackson is from. You know what I mean? Yeah. But they're friendly in general. And then obviously expats are going to be very, very friendly as well, because we're all here. There's like a reason why we left America. So there's some commonality. Maybe we come here because the dating is a lot better here. Maybe we come here to escape a super divided and toxic political environment. Maybe they see a civilization in downfall with all the pronouns. And I'm not going to get into, all of that, but maybe they just see kind of a degrade of Western society. And then this is something that I'm not really qualified to comment on, but you would probably say a certain percentage of your audience would fall into this category of like these black men that feel like, I don't know how to even say this, but like the black man belongs back in Africa. There's too much racism in America and it's just better out here. We don't get looked at differently. I'm not going to be judged by the color of my skin. And they love black women. But as we were talking about, a lot of black men, and this is just from what I've seen from the outside, not that I'm an expert on being black or black women, but from what I've heard you and all the other black expats talk here, because we're talking about making friends, right? So a big thing about friendship is commonality. And a lot of black men, their number one choice is black women. Some black guys like snow bunnies. There's a percentage of black guys that prefer a nice snow bunny, but I would think most black guys like black women. But I feel like, and you can let me know if you agree or not, so I'm not speaking for you guys, that you find the women out here a lot easier to deal with. Yes.
They are easier to approach and just say fucking hello. And you probably know if you've approached a black woman in the States or I'm not even going to single out black women in the States. If you just want to ask for directions, it's like you did something wrong.
Yeah.
And it's like, I wasn't even trying to get at you. I'm just asking for directions. Versus, like you said, the people here are just generally more friendly. So you have an easier social life.
Yeah.
Whether if it's men or women, it's just easier to just get along with the people here. And of course, like I said, with dating. And when like I said before, they're not even comparable to the ones back in the States.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that they have in common is they're both black.
Yeah, they're a lot less peppery. Let's say
that doesn't mean it doesn't exist, but generally speaking, it's not going to be an issue.
Yeah, no, because Latin women have a reputation for being very feminine and liking to please their man, take care of their man. And in my even just very limited experience out here, I'd say it's damn near stronger out here. And you have more. Would you agree too? Like,
yeah,
very like feminine, like,
yeah, girly, they're very girly.
Whereas like I would find a more strong personality. Let's say the typical black woman in the United States would have a much stronger personality versus a woman out here would be a lot more, let's say, docile.
I mean, they have strong personalities here too, but it's just like you said, more feminine. It's the attraction to their personality is stronger versus back home. It's like it's strong, but it's like it can. Whoever taught them that they need to act like that really led them the wrong way.
Not that I'm an expert on this subject by any means, but just I hear from what you guys say, and that's mostly what I hear from listening to y'all talk about the situation. Not that I'm an expert to be qualified commenting on this too much.
Yeah.
let's make that clear.
So what is your favorite part of being in Kenya?
My favorite part of being in Kenya? Oh my God. Quality of life is amazing. We talked about the cost of living, so that adds to quality of life when you can have, what's the word again? A dada.
A dada, like the housemaid.
The housemaid, yeah, that's the term out here, is a dada. I haven't got a dada. I'm supposed to get a dada soon. Yeah, basically they'll do like cook and clean for you, right? Take your clothes to the dry cleaners, obviously clean the apartment. who was it? Kevin, right, was saying that his daughter, like, even takes his daughter to school, and sometimes even, like, I don't know if he said he gives her a bath, or what, basically almost like a surrogate,
wife.
like a surrogate mother to the daughter.
Yeah.
And sorry, what was the question? What's my favorite part about being here? Yeah. Okay. Dating here is amazing. One thing that I talk about on my channel all the time, and we even started the interview like this. I said, look, if you're not at the very fucking minimum, looks, height, muscle mass, money, charisma, understanding of female psychology, confidence, all these things cumulatively, if you're not at least a 6 out of 10 in the United States, just give up. Don't even try dating the women there. Unless you want to date far below average, super mid, ugly chicks, that's fine. So I've been part of this passport. I mean, dude, I went to Costa Rica, changed my experience and my perspective since 2013. The term passport, I went to Medellin and started living in Medellin in 2016. I was a trendsetter. The word passport, bro, didn't even exist. I just wanted to escape, white girls with a dry, weird personality that wasn't feminine at all. So obviously dating is where I'm going with this out here. So my favorite things are, the dating, the quality of life, and I guess this may be a unique experience to me, but you've plugged me in to all the right people that I need to know. And this is something I've said a lot. I would, and I think you would agree, you'd rather be in a 4 out of 10 city with all your best friends than alone in a 10 out of 10 city. Because like I said, we need to be social. It's just fun. Like, all the funny little stories, maybe some stories we shouldn't repeat on camera, but we met 3 women the first night on Monday. That was a fun experience. There's some funny stories there. Even the story that I just told with the female pickup artist. I mean, that's a hilarious story I'll have. And, being with friends and navigating. That's why anyone's an idiot if they are truly wanting to come to Kenya, not to hit you up. All the right people, instant social circle, help with visa and stuff, M-Pesa. I would never have known how to get in. That's Cash App. That's Zelle, Cash App, Venmo, whatever you want to call it, 4K, and you call it M-Pesa. I would never know how to do that. So I guess that's one of my favorite things. That may be a unique thing to me, is getting plugged into an instant friend circle with all the right like-minded people through you. So that may be unique to me or anybody else who, uses you as a guide.
Absolutely, I would agree. So you guys heard me. If you guys are looking to come to Kenya, no matter who you are, how old you are, no matter what gender you are, and you want to have the right network, you want to know where to stay, you want me to help you pick out, because we work with people that live here in Kenya, and we get the place to stay for what you want. If you want a pool, if you want a pool hall I don't think they have a pool hall. Some of them do, actually. Some of them have a pool hall. Whatever you want, I can find that for you. I can get a driver to pick you up from the airport, or to be there the entire time as well. Anything that you need to make your transition or visit here in Nairobi, I can help you do that.
I'll say one thing. There's a saying in Spanish, el barato sale caro, which means more or less trying to do things cheaply ends up more expensive. So if you're going to fix the foundation in your house, the house is cracking, the house is starting to tilt because there's a problem with the foundation. You get the cheapest guy, the cheapest quote to fix your foundation. He may do a shitty job. The whole situation may go, the whole house might fucking collapse, cost way more than if you just went with the right contractor in the beginning. So same thing with traveling. You're not going to know where to stay. Like, they could stay in the part of town with all the traffic. They can stay in the part of town that has the trendy nightlife noise, good for single people, but they're a family person. They they didn't go to so everything here, you'd be dumb not to save yourself time and energy and effort.
Yeah, because I have a guy that he's bringing his family out here, and everything he described to me based off where he wanted to go, based off what he could look up on Google, I was like, yeah, if you go there, you're gonna hate Nairobi, because that's not your vibe. That's not what you need. That's why you need to speak with somebody that has boots on the ground. So last question, and if you guys are interested in speaking with somebody that has boots on the ground, remember, click the link in the description or the first pinned comment, and we can get you a plan started today. So other white Americans that maybe are still hesitant to come to Kenya, what would you say to them to give them one last push to visit?
I would say that you will be treated amazingly out here. But I'd also say that to a black American, but that's universal, white or black, you will be treated amazing out here. I would say that the dating is amazing out here. The people are friendly out here. The cost of living is good. Don't be scared. Don't be nervous. This is what I would say to the average white person. Like, again, I didn't have this perception because I talked to you, and I'm just a bit more of a worldwide, like, aware person who's traveled a lot. But again, I'm speaking to the average white guy again, right? That's the question. What do I say to him? Yeah, it's not hyenas running around in the streets. There's not, monkey meat in like weird, markets or huts and anything like that. Super modernized. You can definitely get fast internet out here. And I would say this too. Most white boys probably don't have experience dating black women for some of the reasons, that we talked about earlier. And I think dating is horrible in the United States. I think all women are entitled, masculine, rude, not feminine in the United States. I wouldn't put any extra emphasis on black women for that, but yeah. I would say come out here, and I mean, I don't know, black women are beautiful, their skin is amazing, the ones out here treat you well, and especially for like a white boy who might be like more shy, they'll invite you to come talk to them. They'll lock eyes with you and just smile. They'll wave, they'll like I got approached here but she was Ugandan, she wasn't Kenyan, but I mean, like, you will be approached here, and especially to someone who's never dated overseas, or even, like, I would say this too, going to a place like, most passport bros go to Medellin, maybe they've been to Mexico, they go to the same places like Cancun or Rosarito, I don't even know. It's different out here in terms of, for example, maybe not like the foreigner advantage, certainly not white advantage, because they just love men here, black, white, anything. But a dating market like Sao Paulo or Rio would be more difficult, number one. But even a place that's, fairly, advantageous for dating, a good place for dating, Thailand, stuff like that, Philippines. As a guy walking down the street, there may have been a lot of girls that admired you and wished you would have talked to them, and they showed zero signals of that whatsoever. Mm-hmm. Here would not be the same. So, yeah, you kind of feel like a celebrity. You feel like a rock star. You will get more. And also the people here, at least the ones that I've encountered, are not in any way what I would describe as like primitive people. They're educated. Mm-hmm. They're intelligent. Like I said, that pickup artist, that woman who came up to you, I think she almost learned British with, like, was I tripping, or did she almost have like a British accent to it? Mm-hmm. Like, she could do a documentary. Mm-hmm. Like, she was so articulate, and like her posture was good and mm-hmm. stuff like that. So if you're expecting, again, a bunch of uneducated, primitive people, that's not the case at all from what I've seen. So that might be the average, white man's or white boy's perception back home. It's not like that. And I would say, yeah, don't be scared. But I would also say at the same time, either come with a friend or know what the fuck you're doing. Because, number one, I've only been here for a week. And number two, my experiences could be 180 degrees different because I know you. You're telling me, where should I go, where should I not go? What are the good clubs, what are not the good clubs? I don't know, which girls may be working versus, which girls are definitely not working and just want you for your personality and they're not looking for anything. That's why, mm-hmm. friends and everything. So I would say, yeah, come here with a game plan, come here knowing people, come here, with a guide of some sort. And, if for a white boy, if it's your first time dating black girls, it's an amazing experience out here. A lot of white boys have never dated black girls.
So, guys, there's Casey Redbeard Rants. I'll tag his YouTube channel in the title and the description. Again, if you guys are interested in coming to Kenya, click the link in the description and in the first pinned comment, and we'll get a plan set up for you to come today. Anybody is available to be helped. I'll see you guys next time.